FedEx full, we command in the block. Burgundy and gold, got the city on lock. Hustling plays, they don't need to pretend. DC reppin' strong and we fight to the end. Command is moving, no breaks, no pause. Hands in the dirt, respecting the call. K-Dot and admit, dissect the grind. District divider with a city in mind. Trying to dance why, don't miss a bit. And you gotta spread the words, so shit is shit. K-Dot.
Welcome, everyone, to District Divided, a DC sports podcast. More specifically, a Washington Commanders podcast. I am Amit. That is K-Dot. This episode, it is the preview episode where our Washington Commanders are in Arizona already practicing. We are taking on the Arizona Cardinals Sunday, 4 Eastern, 4 or 5 Eastern, technically. That's going to be on Fox. And so we're going to preview that game for you guys, give you our predictions, maybe a bit of the week, as we always do. We got the comment mailbag after the pod, etc. But before we begin this episode, if you could please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, comment as you always do, and K-Dot.
Are you familiar with the Gibbs Bible?
No.
No?
No.
All right, well, there's a passage I wanted to read from the Gibbs Bible. It comes from the book of Riggins, chapter 44.
The Gibbs Bible. Got it.
Verse 70, Chip. The path of the righteous listener is beset on all sides by the iniquities of the selfish and the failing of sharing this shit. Blessed is he in the name of charity and quality Commanders content. Spread the District Divided gospel, for they are truly their brother's keeper in bringing the truth of our team to the masses and far and wide. And I shall strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger those who hear the voices of K-Dot and Amit and keep it to themselves. And you will know my name is Coach Gibbs when I lay my vengeance upon thee.
That was beautifully done. Beautifully done. Gibbs Bible. I need to get myself a copy.
You gotta get yourself a copy.
That's incredible. So please, guys, you heard it. Share this shit. We would greatly appreciate it. Before we get to the preview, you guys know we had a Monday night game, and now we got a whole lot of people talking about us, and it's pretty cool. So we're gonna go ahead and tell you guys about what we think of the national spotlight. Before that, though, K-Dot, I was talking to my sister about this because, you know, in all the excitement, I was like, man, this is cool. Like, I'm going to send this to all sorts of people, even people that don't always watch sports.
Right.
So I sent some highlights to my sister, and she sees the 3rd and 7, the play where Jayden just throws it up to Terry. Oh my God. It's still so beautiful to see. And K-Dot, I wanted your take on this, and in the comment mailbag, guys, feel free to chime in as well. She said that when she saw it, in terms of the goosebumps she got and how amazing it was, because Jayden gets hit. It's national TV, the spotlight and everything. She even had other people send stuff to her. She was like, it reminded her of the Odell Beckham catch against the Dallas Cowboys. Funnily enough, at the time of recording, Giants-Cowboys is going to be going on here shortly. I was wondering if that made sense to you, because for me, as she said it, she was like, look, let's hope it doesn't end up the way Odell did, right? But in terms of impact, in terms of almost a Star is Born type thing, she was like, I could see that because I haven't seen a quarterback do that before. Certainly not with Washington. And so I was just sort of curious as to your take, because for me, it resonated some.
I love it. But the reason I love it is more like poetic in a sense.
Yeah.
It's like what she's describing to you is what I love about football. It's those moments, right? They don't do it anywhere near as often because you have the cameras are basically everywhere in social media and all that kind of shit, right? But the days of NFL films when you'd have Sable come across, so they have the narrator on and talk, the gridiron, and it's this. There is nothing quite dramatic like the game of football, NFL football. It's why it's number one. The pauses between stuff, the absolutely able to ramp up for this, the rush of certain other things, the physicality of it. It's like a movie, man. Like you couldn't script that. It's why football movies are so great, right? Those moments where the quarterback's getting fucking crushed. He can't see the outcome, right? Ball's in the air. Anything can happen. And it's just this drama incarnate. I love movies. I love music. But it's better than any of those things because it's live. It's right there. So like the Odell Beckham play, like I can go back in the Rolodex and think about like one of my favorite plays all the time, the Steve Young to Terrell Owens in '98 wild card game. You think about the Monday night Mark Brunell to Santana Moss. You all remember where you were when that happened, right? Like it's those moments. And I think what adds to the level of drama to it, which makes it resonate, is here's the Rook. Here's the Rook doing it on the national stage. So it's just if anybody's ever curious as to why we love this fucking game, it's that.
I mean, when she said it to me, it just clicked. I was like, that does make sense. I almost didn't allow myself to feel that because we've been so.
Does she watch football typically?
No, that's the thing. So she doesn't, but she's so used to, like, my dad watches a lot of soccer. I do too. She listens to this, like, and then watch a lot of football. She's so used to being around us. By the way, she talks like a talking head. Like if she were all of a sudden, she was doing all the qualifiers and also like, but when you think about this time, like it's slightly different because of X, Y, and Z. I was like, damn. All right. So shout out Nandini. That was a great shout there. Let's talk about the national media, K-Dot. So ESPN's all over it. Fox is all over it. Everyone's all over it right now.
Your sister. I mean, that's part of it.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I've had other friends reach out who were off the Washington franchise and now are like, hey, I love it. Are we back? Like, there's serious questions about it. Is it okay for me to come back? Like, that's what's going on. What do you make of it?
I've enjoyed it. The text threads that you're on, where every time you want to post something about happening with the Commanders, you got the asshole who want to spice some slick shit, and it's like, yep, yep, can't deny it. Like it feels great. It feels like this, like there's a catharsis that happens as far as being a Commanders fan, especially outliving the Dan Snyder era, which is that, like, is this good for real? Like, it's,
right.
Like, and it feels legit, right? Like, there's a lot of other things kind of happening that makes me feel so much better about this than some of the other moments, right? So, like, you have those moments you can go back to with, like, RG3, that 2012 year, that I'm reminding of these things that put us on a national stage, right? But with the people in the building, you always were undecided. They can't handle this. They're not going to be able to handle this. They're gonna fuck this up. People are going to get too big for their britches. People are going to get bigger than the team. People are going to start thinking about the monetary aspect of this. So people are going to start thinking about this. Think about this. Unrealistic expectations are going to start to come in. Like, it's all this monotony of bullshit that usually happens around Spotlight, especially when it comes to us, but across the league, right? Right. Where it's like, all right, do you think you can handle it? And I tell you, majority of the time, no, I didn't. Even when we have, like, the micro spotlights, like Taylor Heineke put us on a national stage to a certain degree, right?
Right.
And there was an element of, like, well, this is great, but we know this isn't going too far. But with this, it's like no one knows what the ceiling is at all, and we're all here for the ride, and it's awesome. There's frustration when you hear a bunch of talking heads the same way that we prefaced everybody in the last episode. That, like, yo, you're going to hear some nonsense. You're going to hear a bunch of people talk about this team like they've watched every play, and they just don't know. And I think that if you were to talk to me a year or two ago, I probably would have been frustrated by it, like really frustrated by it. Like, man, these motherfuckers want to talk about this shit and they don't even know, they don't do the work or whatever. Now I just feel like, fuck them. Like, I don't care. I care that I'm able to watch down and do the breakdown, that we're able to share in this moment, right? Like, this is dope. And what to me means more than anything, and I know we have a couple Dan Quinn quotes that make me feel better about all of it, which is the way that they're even treating from the get-go when it came to Jayden. He's the draft pick. They could do what they do to all of them, which is trot him out in front of the fans, start building the pressure on him, do the Caleb Williams thing, right? But what'd they do? He's not our savior. And I think that, like, these Dan Quinn quotes really speak to it. But I definitely understand our fan base has been waiting for the franchise QB, but also don't want Jayden feeling any ghosts, Quinn said. Making sure he understands there's only one name on the back of that jersey, and that's for him. They're not comparing. They're not doing any of the nonsense. I fucking adore what they just did after this game. They flew out to Arizona. They're out there right now in Arizona. If this is Dan Snyder, fuck that. I ain't putting you motherfuckers up in a hotel doing all that kind of shit. I ain't fucking paying for that, right? They'd be right back here on a fucking short week trying to make things fucking work. This is almost like summer camp. This is them keeping things internalized to the unit, right? You can here start listening to the outside noise, start listening to this, listen to that. What did he do? Oh, we're gone. We're gone. We're it's going to be us as a unit together, not listening to any of the bullshit. This is a team and an organization that's fucking ready for it because they're not setting unrealistic expectations for themselves.
Yeah, it's been great. It's been refreshing. We've talked about us being a new franchise, almost an expansion franchise on steroids, where we have a rich history. People are already fans of the team. They're just starved for success.
Right.
They're starved for stability. K-Dot has talked about it in many episodes about how he wants to build the front office first, and ownership needs to be there and stuff like that. And now we have that. And now we have this quarterback who we believe has superstar potential. It was fun hearing the national media. Some of them go, he's already a superstar. Like it's cool to be able to see some of them already run all the way with it. It's fun. I think it's deserved for a lot of the fans that have been waiting for so long. And we'll continue to see how he develops as we go along here. But obviously, very promising signs to begin with. It's very fun seeing certain people in the media take their victory laps already. The whole, even I still think it's premature with the Caleb Jayden conversation.
Victory lap, brother.
But it's early. No. Hang on. It is early. It is early.
I get it.
But yeah, exactly. So trust me, I still feel the ghost of Snyder. But like, early indications are good.
This is what I'll say. I know what comparison's the thief of joy, and I just said how Dan Quinn's not comparing, but I ain't got to worry about that because I'm keeping it medium. I don't give a fuck. Case the national conversation and discourse. I know you even sent me about the Caleb Williams thing compared to the Jayden Daniels thing and all that kind of bullshit. Right?
That's fine.
Here's what I said, and I think this goes above reproach. I'm not saying as far as with the results or anything and blah 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 blah. What I'm saying is this: what we've built as far as from the front office and the organizational down, right? There might not be a better situation for a quarterback in the National Football League that's young, outside of probably Minnesota, than us. Period. If Bryce Young is here with this staff, he's got a better shot than he got in Carolina. If Caleb Williams is here with this staff, he got a better shot than he got in Chicago. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. No, situation matters. And I think that's being
100%.
proven. I think you even see it with some of these vet QBs, right? That are they having resurgences, like true resurgences? Is it just a blip, etc.? Like Sam Darnold in Minnesota. You put him with a guy like Kevin O'Connell, all of a sudden he feels empowered. All of a sudden he's looking good, right? So situation matters big time. And that lends itself to JJ McCarthy next season, right? For you. That was your guy. Like, he is in a really, really nice spot for his development. So situation matters a whole lot.
I'm also a Darnold guy, just for the record.
Oh, yeah, that is true. You're also a Darnold. You're having a hell of a year. Any final thoughts before we move on to the preview?
Bring it, Spotlight, because I can't wait for no, I'm not going to say this, but if things go bad, can't wait to hear these same motherfuckers flip.
They're going to flip so fast.
Shit.
Gosh.
I can't wait. Like, that shit's going to happen.
The people who were quiet this go around, by the way, are going to have a field day. By the way, now Jayden Daniels got enemies now. Just real quick.
Yeah.
Because those that love Caleb were awfully quiet. And the moment Jayden has a bad game and Caleb has a good game, which will surely happen at some point this season, you would think, they'll be out. Just a heads up, they'll be out. But anyway, we got a football game to win this coming Sunday, K-Dot. So let's go ahead and talk about it. So once again, we are going to the Arizona Cardinals. We're already in Arizona.
Are we doing the All-22 first, or are we going the Cardinals?
We have to do the All-22.
See what I'm saying?
Look at me. Look at me. I'm so jumped into the next thing.
I know. I get it, brother.
That's on me. I apologize.
I gotta see Tecmo Bowl me.
Please do.
It's the All-22 review, a district divided. Bitches!
Thank you very much for the reminder, K-Dot, that you have, by the way, guys, and you need to know this. So when K-Dot does this All-22 review, he's got a layer. And there are about 50 to 60, maybe even 70 screens. All at once, he's picking it up. And that's just one play at a time. He's looking at everything, okay? So when we do these All-22 reviews, it's basically the gospel. So K-Dot, over to you. Floor is yours.
I'm getting a verse in the Bible of Gibbs soon. All right. House cleaning to start off based on some stuff that happened last week. Number one, the play. If you remember this screenshot from last episode, down at the bottom, I said that there were 10 players on the field. It was wrong.
There were 11.
There were 11 for each side. Troy Aikman got us a little too excited. We wanted to, once again, when it comes to the story making, the poeticness of football, it just sounded better. It's like, still great.
I'm willing to roll with it, K-Dot. I'm willing to roll with it.
Then also, other just house cleaning thing, as far as Luke McCaffrey. It's going to be kind of hard to see, but I tried to take screenshots as far as the All-22. So Luke, the catch that he made that we gave him credit as far as what he was doing as far as the window. I know you can't really see a whole lot, really zoomed out right
This
there.
is the 4th and 2, is that right?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't fucking know. I don't know. Where is it? Didn't I write it down somewhere? I have it somewhere in the fucking.
It's the 4th and 2. I was setting you up. It's the 4th and 2. Go ahead.
Appreciate it. 4th and 2. All right. Close up. You see where Jayden releases the ball. You see where Luke is up at the top. You see his alabaster skin. Then you see Noah Brown, his tall ass down at the bottom of the screen. And I was noticing something, but I noticed it really clearly on this view. That ball is for Noah Brown. Like, you can see where if you watch the play in full, we can't really play this shit because of monetization, copyright, all kind of nonsense. But if you really look at the throw and you look at all that, it's clearly for Noah, not Luke. But that doesn't matter, because all that means is my entire Luke McCaffrey bit about target and percentage is above 100%. This motherfucker's so good. He's catching other people's targets. He's the man. Anybody want to talk to me about Jahan Dotson anymore? Nope. Luke. Just saying. That's my boy. That's my boy. All right. Now to the all-22 shit. Look, there's a lot of nonsense. I ain't trying to get it like. Let's start out offensively. Jayden, I could talk about forever. I think the big thing with Jayden is the strides that he made from week 2 to week 3. I tried to look for, all right, what happened exactly, right? Like, I know simplistically we talked about it. He's clearly staying in the pocket a little bit longer. He's letting stuff develop. He's throwing out of the pocket, things like that. So I was like, okay, was there something that was happening as far as outside forces that changed that dynamic, right? Because I've been thinking more or less it's like he's just choosing not to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I looked at the blitzing. All right, did they blitz significantly more than Tampa Bay or New York? Nope. 11, 12, and 11. Those are the blitz numbers for all three teams. Pretty much all the fucking same. So it's like, all right, well, that didn't happen. All right, well, maybe Kliff's play calling was a lot different in this game compared to the other games. Nope. There's one aspect of Kliff's offense that did change a bit, something I previewed before the Giants episode, which is that I was telling you guys, or after the Giants All-22, which is I thought what Kliff was doing was running a lot of the RPO stuff, but not doing true play action. And when they got to true play action, it was going to be something special. They did do a lot of play action in this particular game, at least compared to the other two games, and it did set up some stuff. But I can't really look at the play action itself as like a reason for what it is that was happening as far as success when it came to Jayden himself. So literally, it's just a light switch. Like
he just flipped a switch.
He flipped the switch. He just decided this is what he's going to do now. And it's like, holy shit. Now, that being said, I know you look at this game, you're like, what notes could you have for him again? I will be honest. There were still some plays he missed. There were still some guys that were open deeper down the field that he could have taken shots that he didn't take the shots. And it becomes this thing where it's like, you're checking down to something that's maybe too open too soon. You trust it. You take it with the defense and give you whatever. It was a positive play. We won the game. So it's like, you don't really have a whole lot of criticism for it, but it's like, hey, if we're going to be in a position where this defense is not going to be able to fucking stop people, you got to take advantage of every opportunity. There were some opportunities were absolutely left out there that we scored eventually, but it could have happened in faster fashion. You never know what the next play is going to be. So if you got something that's going to be open, you fucking need to take it. So those are pretty much the only things with Jayden. I will say, when he doesn't take that shot for the thing that's open, what does that mean? It's still a positive play. So it's very hard to know, like, all right, if he takes that shot, is it a pick? If he takes that shot, is it not a good throw? Like, I can live with the ratio we're seeing right now compared in week 3 compared to weeks 1 and week 2. That's it.
But your point is that there's still room to improve, which is cool, right? Because when you consider that he got, what was the PFF grade? 95.9.
Something nuts, yeah.
The QBR was 93. Like, and he can still improve. That's actually a good thing. Is the way,
still room,
which is great. So
yeah,
Jayden. Okay, and
100%
for you is, are you seeing the same plays over and over through the first 3 weeks? Like, do you think that we're setting up for some new plays down the stretch, or do you think this is the offense, what you've seen so far?
No, I feel as though a lot of what they did as far as in the RPO game was set up to where they were able to take advantage of stuff this particular game, right? And it's a combination of some stuff. It's the guys in the offense maybe not executing the RPO the way they needed to. I remember I was critical in a couple games. I was like, all right, you kept that, you shouldn't have kept it, or you did this, should have did that, maybe you should have thrown out here. They blew up a screen here and there. They were just executing at a higher clip than they typically do. The only thing new that I saw really introduced was the number as far as the pure play action I was seeing. There were the two and these are going to sound like such major gripes, like such minor gripes, I mean. The two things that I would tell Jayden is that he's got to sell the play action better than he's selling it right now. It's a lazy play action. There's some stuff with that, but also as far as just giving him kudos in that same realm, and as far as kudos to both Kliff and to Jayden, what he's doing as far as pre-snap and recognizing blitz and changing plays, I don't remember seeing a rookie having this much latitude to do so. There is truly like a lot of faith that they're gonna build again, and I really like what I'm seeing.
Let's go back to that very first throw he made to De'Ami Brown in the Jets preseason game. Remember, guys, he checked to that play.
Buzz in the tower.
And that was buzz in the tower. Very first deep ball he tried. His second attempt ever as a pro, right? And that's preseason game 1. So you could already see it then. And it's cool to see it translate to the national stage, right? In a big moment, be able to go, okay, this is what's going on. And that would explain such a high completion percentage, right? 91.3%. That's command right there. It's not just what's happening during the play. It's before the play as well. Okay, cool. Go ahead, Kiddo.
No, 100%. I love the fact that you echo that sentiment, because it's very important to see, because you're seeing certain, and even you look at the play of the day, which was Terry calling his own numbers. We found out post game, right, or at least in the days after, which was that what you're seeing with this offense is you're having a dude that's not coming as in Kliff Kingsbury is like he's some king of some goddamn kingdom. The Eric Bieniemy style, in the sense of you're going to do what I tell you to do, right? This is from a communication standpoint, once we talk about from top down in the organization, if you got a guy like Terry and you believe and you trust him and you want to build that trustworthiness between everybody, and he says, hey, I'm going to line up on the right, throw that go, I'm going to be there. And for it to work out, just wonders as far as from an offensive standpoint. Also quickly, as far as on the O-line, and this is all I have for as far as the offense goes. I remember before last week's game, I said that Brandon Coleman, I was hoping that, like, as far as from the standpoint of just production in the game itself, I thought the Lucas probably was going to be a better option than Coleman. I will tell you, the tape panned that out perfectly. Lucas did have a better game than Coleman, period. There's no getting around it. I know that Trey Hendrickson had a quiet day as far from a sack standpoint until they got the announcer's jinx, but Henderson was getting some pressure leaning on that side towards Coleman. There's just some things that Coleman are working on. Once again, Coleman still stands out beyond anyone on the offensive line as far as just sheer size and athletic gifts. But what you're seeing as far as the snap count, they were pretty much equal as far as how many snaps they were. They were just reversing back and forth.
Okay.
They're trying to get Coleman more involved. I like what they're doing as far as the rotation. It's not something I've typically seen, if not ever really remembered.
I was going to ask you, so are they rotating on drives? Are they like, how is that working out?
It looks like they're rotating on drives. Like it's just so there is certain plays, or if they're like, there's a timeout or something, sometimes these guys will kind of switch in and out. But at least from what I saw, I didn't go, look, when you pull up a certain player on the All-22 listing and you could see, all right, they have 36 plays. Like, I ain't watching all these goddamn things. So like there's certain elements of stuff, right? Right. But yeah, you can definitely see what they're trying to do is get Coleman more involved, and trying to get it before they're just like, hey, and we also got to remember he's coming off that injury, right? So there's.
Are we seeing progression with Brandon Coleman week over week?
Yes, it's up and down, but okay. I'd say overall, yeah,
he's being a rookie.
Things.
Okay, got it.
But that's the other thing is like, even if I'm seeing more bad things, it's also because he's playing more.
Right.
So it's just there's more that I can criticize compared to not criticizing. So that's just it on that. Also on the offensive line, Wiley actually had a better game than I thought.
Cool.
Looking back at the All-22, he did a pretty damn good job there. I mean, at least there were times where at least Wiley and Coleman were out in the field, and that's all. Wiley's doing a better job than Coleman was doing. On the interior, Sam Cosmi, keep doing your fucking thing.
He's great.
You got it. The only time you get Cosmi ever gets like is like you'll see Coleman will let something off, and it's like, oh, I wasn't expecting. One of the tackles will fuck up as far as not giving off the defender to Cosmi, but I ain't fucking dealing with him. Allegretti and Biotish carried this demarcation almost when it came to Dallas, in which everybody said that he was like undersized. He's athletic, but when it came to bigger defensive tackles, he just didn't really do a good enough job on that. I'd say as far as pass blocking goes, as far as Biotish and Allegretti, they did fairly okay. They did okay. They did a damn decent job. They did what they could as far as protecting Jayden up in the center. But what really stands out as far as in the run blocking, Biotish and Allegretti are almost, I mean, there's a lot worse you can be as far as offensive linemen, but that's say they're kind of brick walls. They don't get pushed back all that often. I mean, it happens occasionally because it's not great, but they're usually standing pretty stoic. But the thing that really stands out is on the run blocks, they're still just kind of standing stoic. The other offensive linemen are getting pushed into the level of the defense and penetrating as far as in the defense and setting up certain run lanes, where you got these guys are just kind of taking care of their responsibility and not really moving too much.
Is some of that, I mean, I'm curious. Look, I'm learning too. Yeah. Is it one of those things where maybe they are sort of selling like, hey, pass is still a possibility here, so they delay it?
No, it stands out beyond.
It's not
that.
like an illegal man downfield. Like,
no, because there's the other things that you actually see where I'm going to give Allegretti and Biotish especially credit. When they're pulling, especially the center pull, Biotish is a dog. Like, as far from an athleticism standpoint, you can see it. He a dog. It's just that as far as just generating when it's like, all right, it's a pure inside run, they didn't really have a lot of success with it because they just didn't have the push. So you see a lot of like the short down situation where it's like they're relying on the option more. It's like, just give Brian the fucking ball. He's going to run out the gut for 5 yards. They couldn't rely on that in the Cincinnati game. They just weren't getting the push that they needed to get to sustain.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. And so that's the offensive line. That's Jayden. Let's wrap up the receivers and backs and then move to defense. Go ahead.
Guys are doing good as far as receivers and backs. I don't really got a whole lot to give you as far as that shit goes.
Okay, because I'm super curious about the defense.
Yeah, because also I will tell you one thing. Because of Terry's great game, what I should have done was go back and actually look at the run blocking from week 2 to week 3.
Yeah,
I didn't do it.
Okay, that's fine.
I just didn't want to feel bad. So like,
and maybe he did well. Maybe he did.
Maybe
well.
he did. So like, I'm gonna wait before I go and actually really mark it. That was just like, hey, we're having a positive day. We're not gonna fucking do it because I know if I watched it and I saw it, I would have no choice but to talk about it.
Got it. Well, let's go ahead and talk about the defense because I'm curious to see if there have been improvements from individual players, what the interior of the line looked like. We consistently are getting run on. Like Chase Brown had a really nice game against us this time, and it's not like Zach Moss did badly either. So I'd be curious to hear what you saw on tape there.
Positives. Jeremy Chin had a great first quarter and the first play of the second quarter. I think I said that directly in the post game.
You did.
That's not new. Mike Sanderson and Quan Martin look better in run defense.
I like that.
More sure tackling.
Okay, nice.
Pretty good. Butler looked good. Percy Butler had some good moments as far as run support.
Captain last week. That's great.
Mm-hmm. Dante Fowler and Deron Payne, they could generate some pressure here and there. They didn't finish what they needed to, but
Jean-Baptiste got a sack.
Yeah, he did. Proud of him. Yeah. It was one play that I saw as far as him. It was like, all right, cool. Yeah, that's it. There's a regression as far as overall in the defense to me. And it's sort of a I don't know what they're going to do to be able to fix it, if I'm being completely honest. Like, what you talk about as far as the interior rush, I don't know. They tried to do some stuff in the Cincinnati game that I was seeing as far as some of the stunts. Some other stuff to try to get people like jazzed up or try to get something free. It didn't result in any production, really. And look, I know sack numbers can be overrated if you can get pressure, right? But there was moments where it's like the pressure's not really getting to anything that Joe Burrow was trying to accomplish. You could see it in the stat line at the end of the fucking game. It just wasn't happening. A lot of what you're seeing with this defense is truly, in every way, shape, or form, a bend but don't break defense. Between the 20-yard lines, or now at the kickoff, between the 30 and the 20, they can do whatever they want to do. Like, there's not really anything you're going to be able to do to stop them with what they're doing defensively. Have you heard of the Raw Room?
Yeah.
So the Raw Room, they get all the podcasts, a few former NFL player like King Dunlap, and I forget the other dude. Jeremy Menner. But they're Kevin Menner. They were talking about, they had an episode, and I love it because of what they're giving it. And if you're a Commanders fan, you got to see this Clinton Portis episode. It's a fucking 10 out of 10. Although it might make you feel a little iffy about some stuff that happened.
Was this the I can't remember correctly. Was this the Miami recruitment video?
Yeah, it's a little slow.
Oh my gosh.
It's 3 hours and 49 minutes, brother. That's just
incredible.
The story about him and Sean Taylor on a bye week.
Okay, I would love to hear that. All right, cool. I'll check it out.
There's a strip club and some keys trying to get the whole thing. It's the shots before the games. He goes into all of it. Okay. But one episode they were talking about when you're a defensive player and you don't know what the play is, what you do in the moment. So they all interact. It's not a Clint Portis episode. So they're like, all right, if you're a linebacker, what do you do? He's like, oh, that's when you see the shuffle feet. They just kind of move side to side. I don't know exactly what the kept doing. And they were like, what do you do if you're a defensive back? Get back.
Yeah, so then you just don't get beat deep. And it's
you
like,
don't get beat deep, just get back.
Makes sense.
That's the Commanders' defense. Like,
no.
Now, that's not to say they don't know what they're doing. It's,
right.
I think that they understand that, like, hey, look, what they're trying to do, and the fact that they're not generating any sort of real pressure that's going to finish, right? So you got quarterbacks that got time to go out there and make the fucking play. The corners are fucking terrified of getting beat deep. So what they are doing is, like, especially in blitz, in any sort of blitz, any extra man is going, all of our corners immediately run 10 yards back.
Was that true last week as well? Because it's one thing, I could see it when you're going against Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, etc. That's week 1. And week 3, I can see it. You're going against Jamar Chase, who did it anyway. Then T. Higgins, even Yoshivas looked all right. Like, it was that a week 1, week 3 thing, K-Dot? Is that like, nope, every single week I've seen it, that's what
happening.
we do.
It's what's happening with the corners. It's because, like, look, that's what you're supposed to do. If in a blitz situation, this is what I'm saying. In a blitz situation, that is what you're talking. That's what you're supposed to do. You don't have help over the top,
right?
The way you're supposed to. So you got to get the fuck back. The only problem is that we're in that situation on any down in which we're going to send an extra guy, which then leaves anything as far as the intermediate routes pretty much automatic. And the reason they're automatic is that we don't have guys that are necessarily talented enough to make up that ground.
So then this, to me, sounds like the defensive line needs to step up, right? Because we know that the secondary is going to get beat pretty quickly. And we say it over and over, but, like, we have 2 first-round D linemen that are, rated fairly highly, at least amongst the fan base. Although I feel they've taken a bit of a knock from a perception standpoint this season so far. When you look at last season as well. So, yeah, but that's the thing. Like, they need to play like the first rounders they are. The 100%. Edge guys need to get there quicker. I think it makes all the difference in the world. So I'd be curious to see how they continue to start progressing.
That's where you're at. Is, like, you just got to hope it gets there. Like, if you want to see, if we're looking at any game that happened this season, week 1 against Tampa Bay, they were able to amount the absolute most pressure that we've seen.
It looked promising.
It looked promising. And it was like, all right, if you were just a millisecond later, Baker would have got tackled. Like, just finish the play. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't feel that way in weeks 2 and week 3. It just doesn't. We don't feel the pressure on them this way.
Could I ask you about Johnny Newton? I don't know if he stood out at all for you, or if it was just like, oh, okay, yeah, Johnny played.
High motor.
That's awesome.
High motor.
That's awesome.
High motor. It's just that they're not generating enough. And I think that the offense also knows what they're looking at as far as things being automatic. Because it's not just in blitz situation, which they're playing off the line. I think you have defensive backs that clearly just think, yeah, we're not going to get beat deep. And that might be coaching. And this is where I go back to the bend but don't break defense. It worked to a certain degree when it came to the Cincinnati game. If you understand that, like, hey, we're not going to get beat for the big play as best as we possibly can. Just don't get beat for the big play. Let them have it. We're doing what we can as far as the run defense. Let them fucking have it. Then you hope in the red zone, the field shortens, you can make something happen. And that's where I think the defensive philosophy is until something turns on with the D-line.
Okay. Any final thoughts, or should we move on to the game preview?
We move on to the game preview. I'm just saying that.
Oh, boy. Okay. No, I appreciate it because it sets the stage for, guys, the Arizona Cardinals offense. We'll get to it. It's good. So, again, Commanders taking on the Cardinals. It's our 3rd road game of the season already out of 4 weeks. Good. So, good to get these out of the way at the same time. And, hey, do we come up with the victory? But let's set K-Dot. Great job with the All-22 review and setting the stage in terms of what we saw last week, how it can translate to this week. And in other cases, hopefully it doesn't translate to this week. We improve. I do have the latest injury report in front of me.
Sweet.
Yeah. Yep. You bought us enough time there. Appreciate it. And so here it is. I mean, of course, the big news for us is that Austin Ekeler is in the concussion protocol. So he is already ruled out, and wish him a speedy recovery because, like K-Dot said in the last episode, is he our best player outside of Jayden? He might be. Like, he might be our best player straight up. So we're going to be missing him this week. And we're missing Clelin Ferrell for the second straight week. What is also interesting is that Jamison Crowder has not practiced the past couple days. So he's certainly a name you want to monitor. Sam Cosmi did not practice initially due to an Achilles injury or some pain or something like that. He was limited today, yesterday, I guess now, time of recording. St. Juice, same thing. And Emmanuel Forbes is practicing in full. So there's a good shot that he's going to end up being back in the lineup. Okay. And now let's go over to the Arizona Cardinals. So the big news for them, Justin Jones, who's one of their defensive tackles, is done. So he's out. He will not be playing. That's unfortunate for him, of course. Is good news for us because when we go against backup D linemen, we seem to do all right. Then there's Trey McBride, who is their tight end. He's leading the league in targets for amongst all tight ends with 21. He's in concussion protocol. He's not been ruled out yet, but he hasn't practiced so far. And then let's see who else is there. Calvin Beecham, Marvin Harrison Jr. Those guys are limited. Kai's Tonga, another D lineman, has not practiced the past couple of days. We'll see how he does. That's more or less the injury report on that end. Those are the two names to look out for. But Trey McBride is a big one for sure because he's been the security blanket for Kyler. And so anyway, let's go ahead and talk about, again, the reason we're here this season. Jayden Daniels, that Commanders offense against the Arizona Cardinals defense. K-Dot, throwing it over to you. What do you think the best way to attack this Arizona Cardinals defense is? I have my ideas, of course, but would love to hear from you first.
You got to run the ball. Now so
we're going to differ. That's interesting.
So here's the thing. It's really interesting or weird when you talk about the Cardinals defense. This is not outside of Budda Baker. Can you name outside of you saw the injury report before we went into this week? Could you name two other guys on the defense? I know I could.
Yeah, Zaven Collins, I could name, and actually Dennis Garchek or Gardeck or whatever. Gardeck, excuse me, because I remember the game against the Rams he had where I was like, holy crap, this guy. but that's it, just to be totally honest, right?
Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah.
So like it's not the same that we've seen as far as other defenses even so far this year where you have like some names you got to highlight, right? So like last week, we knew the name to highlight, Trey Hendrickson, the insurance salesman.
Right.
Or that, Dexter Lawrence, Thibodeau, those guys. Week one, you can go back and look at the young, promising pass rushers that they had as far as that goes, right? This is really a defense that above any and everything, their star is truly the coach. This is Jonathan Gannon's team. And this is the same dude that was the defensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles who had that vaunted fucking defense. And then it all went to shit once he left. And they're still trying to figure out what the fuck is going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, this is a defense that's in their second year of the install, and they clearly know what the fuck it is they're doing, at least to some degree. I have not seen a team. Jayden Daniels has not seen a team that is going to be able to disguise things in coverage the way these motherfuckers are going to be able to do. Yeah. You can see the game that Jared Goff had, 18-23, 199, 2 touchdowns and a pick. That pick, crucial, right? That pick kept them in the game. There was a 20-13 win for Detroit. They were right there in it, right? These guys are going to be showing Jayden shit that he's just never, ever seen. They're going to be baiting him to throw the fucking football. They're going to have a lot of pre-snap. Look, we are showing pure blitz. And we know Jayden loves to see stuff pre-snap. We know he does it as far as in the simulation. Mm-hmm. And he might say, okay, but they were never going to blitz to begin with. They're great at that shit. Great disguising stuff, right? The one thing that you see as far as they having people that have had success against them to some degree has been what it is that like the rushing attack that even Detroit had last game. You had Dave Montgomery, 23 carries, 105 yards and a tutty. Jahmyr Gibbs, 16 carries, 83 yards, right? A varied rushing attack. That to me is the best game plan in which to beat them. Same thing with the Buffalo Bills week one. You have a varied rushing attack against these dudes. If you see what it is that I think I have this here. Maybe I don't. We'll see. Yeah. So the Cardinals defense against the Rams, right?
Right.
Matt Stafford, no touchdowns, 5 sacks, 19-27, 216 yards. Kyron Williams, 25 yards on 12 carries. Blake Corum, 8 carries on. Yeah. Look, it can get tough too, man. So like the thing that you see with that Rams, with as far as when the Rams thing is, you see the 20 carries overall as far as the entirety of the game. They had to get away from it. And to me, it's like there's an ability to stick with it and also how you're going to do it, right? I don't think this Commanders team right now is built, as what I said about Tyler Biadasz and Nick Allegretti, to basically line up and say, we're going to punch you in the mouth.
Right. And so that's where I think you and I are maybe differing a bit. I still want to run, just to be clear.
Yeah.
I don't know if it is like the way to attack them, because I think Detroit's exceptional, especially on the offensive line and being able to create stuff for David Montgomery, already a physical runner. Jahmyr Gibbs was a first-round pick last year, and there's a reason. He looks like Alvin Kamara.
Yeah.
It's incredible. When I look at Buffalo, because I think they have turned into a run-first team that then allows Josh Allen to mitigate his mistakes and be able to play quarterback quite beautifully, honestly. Like, props to them so far. That was not a shameful loss by any means for Arizona. Going to Buffalo and being up early, and it just, Buffalo being Buffalo at the very end. James Cook had 19 carries for 71 yards. Now, I think James Cook is really, really good. That's 3.7 yards a carry. So they stuck with it, which was important, but it wasn't necessarily effective. Josh Allen, 9 carries, 39 yards. Now, he got 2 touchdowns, and that is important to note because that's a huge part of the equation. But also, you would expect maybe higher yardage for Josh Allen. We don't have Austin Ekeler in this game. So I'm curious to see what we do, right? Is it going to be Brian Robinson a whole lot? Is it going to be Jeremy McNichols, excuse me? Is it going to be Jayden running more? I just, from a safety standpoint, hope not. I hope he picks his spots and stuff like that. But I'm curious. So, K-Dot, it seemed like you had something when I said Eckler's out.
Yeah, no. So that's what I meant. So remember, the key word that I said when it came to the running attack was varied.
Yes.
I don't think we can line up and punch him in the mouth. But
Correct.
Here's where things get interesting as far as the Washington offense. What Kliff Kingsbury has been able to do as far as a lot of the pre-snap motions and as far as what he's been doing in the personnel department, there's a lot of stuff that is just like, wow, all right, that's cool. Like, especially when you compare it to like stuff that we've seen here in Washington in the past, where it's like, depending on where the running back was lined up in the backfield, I knew where the fuck the run was going 100% of the time last year, right?
Right.
These dudes are running counter on the same side that the running back's on. You'll have Ekeler is lined up on the left, and they're running counter on the left. You don't have any fucking idea. Now, don't get me twisted. Ekeler being out of this game is so monumental, right?
Even special teams,
100%.
Yeah.
But I think what we're sleeping on when it came to the Brian Robinson show is that we saw this last year and we've seen it at times. He can also catch, and we've seen it earlier this year. He catch the ball too. So when you talk about the James Cook deal, yes, that yards per carry, not great. But what you also have to take consideration is he had 3 catches for 30-something yards. There were short passes that got him freed up. That, like I've been saying, as far as the short game goes, you have opportunities. So when I'm talking about the Kliff Kingsbury offense, I look at screens as just the extension of the run attack, especially when it's based off the RPO, right? You're trying to keep them second guessing in the short game. And as a matter of fact, I love that NFL, Next Gen Stats actually has this, which is they look as far as some of the matchups go and they try to give you, and you'll see here second, short passing. Washington's the 3rd best in the league, going against the 28th best in the league. That to me is huge. And the thing that stands out as far as what it is they're going to do with varying that style of what I'm talking about, that short game, that is basically just the extension of the run. You're going to have, to me, that's the bread and butter of this. I think it's look, Jayden last week, a star was born. But to ask him with what we know he does pre-stuff this early in the year, this early in his career, to read a Jonathan Gannon defense and to straight up beat him, tall task.
Well, that's also curious as to where we get into what we want out of the game.
Right.
Are we okay with Jayden struggling and trying that, right? Because if it truly is about his development, I think you give it a go and let him struggle a little bit if that's how it's going to end up being. At the rate he's going, though, maybe he learns by halftime. Like, again, it's crazy, like how fast he's learning stuff.
But see, that's the wild card. The wild card in this is, regardless of the looks, you are right. This is a team you can fucking throw on.
75.3% completion they're giving up. And we know Jayden is very judicious with where he's throwing. He's smart about his targeting and what he's doing in the passing game.
But outside of Josh Allen, everybody has a stat line that's kind of like,
because it's short.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So like from a Josh Allen standpoint, he diced him the fuck up. He knew what he was looking at, and he was like, man, fuck. Okay. You think you tricked me? Fuck you. So like, look, the one thing that's the wild card in this, I can go off of what I would look at as far as what the game plan would be for me. That would be the recipe for the most success in maybe a close game. That being said, we do have the wild card in Jayden Daniels where, look, I saw the flip of the switch. I didn't think that was possible. So like, we're now dealing in territory where maybe this motherfucker just carves them up.
That's the thing. So I almost wonder if it's like, hey, we won that awesome game. There's going to be a sugar high. Let's see how he handles it almost. And it's just like, okay, let's observe
100%.
our QB. It might be worth it. It might be worth the information, even if it doesn't necessarily go well, to be able to go, okay, cool. We also have something to teach him, like, which is great. Because,
100%. Yeah. But it's like we said going in the last game. And the thing is, they stuck with it to at least to some degree. You do the runs even when they're not successful to set up and make the passing easier for them. So that to me is like, I look at this and like, if we come out the gate, Jayden's like, I got it. Once again, he's rewriting the book. Fuck out of here. Like, what the fuck do I know? What does any of us know, right?
Well,
but if it's going to...
No.
You know what? Fair enough. I got nothing on that. Fair enough. But if it's going to be more traditional, which once again, this has not been traditional in any sense of it, but if it's going to be more of a traditional development, which it sounds stupid even saying about him after last week, then you want to make the recipe as easy as possible to get to him to allow for success long.
And that recipe is so important as we, unless you have anything else, flip the script here to the Cardinals offense led by Kyler Murray.
Oh, one more thing.
Yeah.
One more thing. Jonathan Gallen. Jonathan Gannon.
Yes.
Brian Johnson.
Brian Johnson.
You know who Brian Johnson is, right?
No, not right now.
What? The Commander's coach.
Brian Johnson. I heard Bryant Johnson. I was like, I don't know who
Brian
Johnson.
Brian Johnson, the motherfucker.
Yeah, they know each other. They know each other.
They know each other really well.
Yes,
and
they do.
As far as somebody that can understand and break down, oh, this is what he's showing. This is what the fuck he's doing.
True.
Just saying. If you're talking about, like, what makes me really happy is the idea of us poaching these Eagles guys and being able to torch these motherfuckers because we know what it is that all the disguises mean. There's a possibility with that. Maybe this entire time in Arizona, Brian Johnson just been with Jayden Daniels in a hotel room being like, hey, this is what they're going to show this, do that, plug this in the simulation. They do this, they're going to do that. And if he can help him with that angle of it, sky's the limit.
It's a really good point. And also, I mean, there's a feel-good element to we're practicing at Arizona State. He's played there before. Tempe, probably showing the guys around. Probably a good time. But what I wanted to say,
camp, you know, like a
kind of, right?
Camp.
Like, you know, they just go straight over there. They get the national media attention. He's going, it's just another game. Man, that guy's a cool customer.
But the camaraderie that builds. I love
exactly. But I want to say, as we flip the script now over to the Cardinals offense against the Commanders defense, that running the ball helps this defense that KDOT has mentioned has been regressing, to be totally honest, right? Because the fewer plays they have to play, the better. That's why running the ball is important. It's not just being able to gash them. That's awesome if you can. You're almost guaranteed to win if you could just gash them. But it also, time of possession is so important and overlooked in football. And I think us being fans of this franchise during our lifetime, we know how important it is to possess the ball against a better team. I'm not saying the Cardinals are necessarily a better team here, but they're good and they have a really good offense, and you're definitely going to need to play keep away from them there. Like, that is necessary in my opinion.
They're a better team. You can say it.
Okay, cool. They are better.
The defense alone.
Sort of lending itself to the prediction here shortly, but
right. Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, we don't have to.
I said it in the last episode.
Here's the David can beat Goliath, right? Like,
yeah.
There's a verse of that in the Gibbs Bible, but it's like
looking forward to it.
The like, yeah, you can. But this needs to be the weekly segment. The opening of every Commander's defense has been the best defense is a rushing attack. Okay,
actually,
like legit with the until the defense actually turns it on. That is always going to be the best defense, is just to keep the offense off the fucking field, man.
Defense is fresher. Offense, depending on when you give the ball back to them, let's say there's a minute left versus 7 minutes left. 7 minutes left, they can do whatever they want. 1 minute, they might feel a bit rushed. It could lead to a mistake. It's an obvious passing situation. These things matter. It is very, very important. I'm shocked how many people, even national media talking heads, don't mention it. They're like, no, you just score as much as possible. No, it's complimentary. It matters. All this stuff matters. Like, get in the details, guys. Like, it is important.
Which brings us to a great point that I want to make as far as on the Cardinals offense aspect, which is this offense is a discipled offense from the Sean McVay offense and that West Coast scheme. And what's extremely important in that sort of scheme is running the fucking football, right? So, like, if you look at the best teams across the league, anyone that has any ties to fucking McVay or Shanahan, what do? They run the ball, right? You have to run the ball to set up everything. So the key to the Cardinals more than any other thing, stop the fucking run. Like, you have to stop the run. Now, here's, once again,
we lose if we don't.
Easily.
Straight up.
I actually wrote in my notes that there were two, I said typical game plan and then the Commander's game plan. Okay. So I said, so in the typical game plan, it's like, it's more stream of conscious, right? It's like, you have a Sean McVay style West Coast offense. You have to stop the run. Everything they do is based off the run. They set up the entire passing game based on the run. That includes everyone, Kyler Murray included. You have to stop them from gashing you. But that's what anybody would say, right? For the Commander specifically, I don't know if they'll need to run. I don't know. Because right now what I'm seeing with the Commanders defense is like, I'm looking at Marvin Harrison. After I've seen Jamar Chase and what he did to us, after I've seen Malik Neighbors and what he did to us, I've seen Mike Evans and what he did to us, and I'm saying, well, that motherfucker gonna eat. Regardless. I don't give a fuck if they can't or not, whatever. You look at the Lions held James Conner to 1.9 yards per carry. I don't know if we can do that.
I know we can't.
So when I say Commander's game plan, right? Tackle to prevent yak. Take away the intermediate routes. Force Kyler to throw downfield and get there with the pressure. Stop the run. I wrote that exclamation mark. Do not let him leak out. Stay disciplined. This is, I'm telling you right now, until the light switch happened for the defensive line, this is bend but don't break defense. Stop the fucking run. Have your defensive backs playing fucking 10 yards off if need be, right? If Kyle's going to beat you, like, just get him to the red zone.
Because here's the other aspect of it, K-Dot. So flipping back for a moment, Arizona gives up 3.9 yards per carry. We're giving up 5.2. Like, that's a first down every 2 rushes. Kyler himself, quite judicious with when he runs. Only 15 attempts this season, guys, for 161 yards. He averages over 10 a pop. Like, this guy is electric when he decides to go. You've seen him before. Of course you know. But over 10 yards a carry is bonkers for a guy like that. And choosing to not run that much is also bonkers for a guy like that. It's impressive what he's done so far. He's third in the NFL in QBR. What'd you say there, K-Dot?
Kyler's special.
He is. And Kliff knows. I know they didn't necessarily get along, but Kliff's aware. Kyler's a special talent, and it's going to take everything and then some to be able to stop this offense. But to your point, K-Dot, if we're devising that plan, it is sort of, as scary as it sounds, make Kyler beat you throwing. Like, stop the run. And, like, you got to sort of hope that you can get to him off of that on 2nd and long and 3rd and long. I just don't know that we can do it.
No, literally the game plan is, if it's before the red zone, let him have it.
So there's your bend, don't break. It's like, okay, cool. We will play this game in the red zone.
That's where you're at. It's like, all right. You remember
that's what we did last week. We tried and we kind of did it.
On the next gen stats about the Washington offense get the Arizona defense. Let's flip the script and see what the NFL next gen stats says about this matchup. Oh, that's 5 stars.
Oh, jeez. I mean, it makes sense, but I guess just seeing the Cardinals logo with 5 stars everywhere is a bit jarring. Wait, can you go back to that one more time, please?
Yeah.
Is that 32s across the board for us?
32, 30.
Passing versus
32,
no
32.
blitz. Oh my gosh. It's a 32 sandwich. I mean, that is.
Once again, until the defensive line light switch hits, you basically have to, because this is what's happened, right? You look at the New York Giants game. What do? They did anything they wanted to until they got in the red zone. We stopped them occasionally.
Yeah.
Cincinnati, they drove to a certain degree, and then we were able to shut them down. They got the missed field goal. Huge. Ended up being basically the difference in the fucking game, right? So, like, it's That's where we're at with the defense until they start fucking playing better. Like that period. This is where we're at. There is what you're seeing in the heart of and this is this is where, like, when I listen to like some of the off-season stuff, like you said about like the Stephon Gilmore thing, right? Like maybe you need a Gilmore in here. This defense is just, like I said, you're playing 10 yards off the line of scrimmage. Right. You don't necessarily have the capability of closing or having any sort of close beat or the savvy to break up those passes when they do the intermediate stuff. It's just sort of a gimme. Yeah, you wish you just had more talented guys to be able to pull off like even more stuff in the bend but don't break defense. Right now, it's pretty much just like, yeah, pray in the red zone, bro. Like that's where we're at until something drastically changes. You gotta kind of fucking pray. The best recipe for it is stop the fucking run, because you don't want them bleeding time out as they're fucking doing that to us.
Right.
And it's, once again, it makes it so much easier on the passing game if they're able to run all of it.
Yeah. And I think one of the weird advantages we have, advantage is the wrong word. It is so seemingly easy to throw on us that we end up controlling time of possession oftentimes just because the explosives are everywhere. Right. There you go. Thank you very much. It's a perfect illustration of it. If the Cardinals do choose to stay patient, this could be a scary game. So anyway, let's go ahead and get to the predictions, K-Dot. I got nothing else.
What the fuck? Hang on.
Sure.
Hang on.
Sure.
Sorry, the overlay for the prediction didn't upload, so I'm uploading it. Here it is!
Hey, there we go. There's the prediction overlay. Appreciate that, K-Dot, on the fly. K-Dot, here it is. This is a fun over-under, by the way. The over-under is 50.5. And the point spread, the Commanders are 3.5-point road underdogs. And so, as always, I need a score. I need a winner, and I need a player of the game.
Look, man, I loved Monday night. I've loved every day post Monday night until I started looking at the All-22 on the defense, and I was like, yeah, football exists, and it's more than just Jayden Daniels being a god. Do I have faith that Jayden Daniels, after what I saw in Cincinnati, could potentially outshoot again in defense? I think so. But on the other side, do I think that this team can hold Kyler Murray in that offense in check, even if we were to get them in those red zone situations with Kyler Murray's ability to fucking run and his ability to throw on the run? No. So until the defense shows me something different, I can only make these decisions based on what I've seen. And with what I've seen, I'm going to say Arizona Cardinals 31, Washington Commanders 28.
Ooh, okay. So we do cover 31-28. We do lose, but we cover. And your player of the game?
If I had to pick player
I
of
think
the
you
game,
and I are going to be the same here.
Marvin Harrison Jr.
Right. If you can't pick the quarterback, you pick, Marvin Harrison. It's got to be said also, Michael Wilson is emerging for them and may end up having a bigger game if Trey McBride is out. Trey McBride being out would be huge for us if he is out, just to be clear, guys.
Anything helps.
Seriously. So same as you, K. We got to keep in mind what Jayden did was historic on Monday night. That was insane. Like, yeah, he was my guy all the way through. I didn't even expect, that was crazy. That was objectively crazy. And again, that was an all-time performance. And as the defense currently is, it would require one anytime we're playing against a really, really good defense. I don't think on a short week that's happening. We're on the road again. I do think that maybe there's a bit of, it's a letdown spot for us, honestly. I got Arizona 38. And I have got us with 24. And I don't know how close this game is. I would love for it to be close. It could even be 38-17, and then it becomes 38-24. I don't mean to be pessimistic. I'm just human nature. That was an amazing victory. back-to-back road games. So that's where I'm at. Player of the game, I'll also go Marvin Harrison Jr. because anytime we go against a bona fide wide receiver, they score. And that's happened every time. Yeah. So until proven otherwise, I want to be proven wrong. I was last week by Jayden and this team, and it was amazing. Absolutely amazing.
100%.
I hope it happens again.
I love this year being the year that we shoot low and once again, nobody's a savior, right? I will say my score is the most optimistic I am willing to be, with also taking into consideration what I think the organization has done as far as being able to put them in Arizona, get ready on that body clock, have the guys kind of be together. I don't think you see the same lull that you would typically see as far as them crossing over or whatever.
He's back at Arizona State, which is kind of cool. There's a bit of memory lane there.
Once again, I'm going as far as I can off the optimism that I saw on Monday night in Jayden Daniels actually putting together back-to-back tremendous performance. And what we then realize is, even if you do that week after week after week after week, if you got a defense that can't stop shit, it won't matter.
Yeah. And the reason I have that prediction as well is because I think it's going to be hard to run on these guys.
Yeah.
And I think because of that, you get into second and long, third and long. You could finally see, I don't want him to because it's so cool that he hasn't turned the ball over, but you could finally see one. Again, this Jonathan Gannon defense, Nick Rallis defense, this is no joke. Like they're giving up a high completion percentage, but the numbers, like K-Dot was mentioning, they're fairly tame to these various quarterbacks. So we'll see what happens. But I would love for that bottom right there to say Commanders 3-1, Amit 2-2, K-Dot 1-3. And we go, guys, if we go 3-1, Lord help us all, because I mean, the expectations, it's going to be hard to just be like, I mean, we're in every game. Now we're going to have more home games. We got the Browns next. Like, I mean, it gets exciting.
I'm not there yet. I will be there.
That's what I'm saying.
I will
win.
No, I'm not going there. No. If we win, it don't change shit for me. It's the.
So you say.
It won't. Dude, I'm medium.
You are medium.
Look, here's the only thing that will change things for me. And this is where I think all of you guys are going to have to kind of pull me back down to earth. If the defense shows up.
Oh, that's the thing.
If the defense shows up, knowing what I've already seen on the offense and the up and downs, but I think there's going to be more ups and downs. Guys, I'm here. I'm all in.
Excuse me. If we win this game 20-13 versus like a 38-35, like 38-35 is more exciting. 20-13 is long-term exciting. It's like,
oh yeah.
Oh, we just held Kyler to 13?
Yeah,
what? hold on. Wait a minute. Yeah, then
you did what the Lions did. What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway. You guys, all right. Let's go. Let's go.
That's the prediction. Kadar and I both have Arizona. He's got Arizona 31-28 and us covering. I've got us losing 38-24. We've both easily surpassed the over. So maybe look at that. But anyway, on to bet of the week, which I just sort of mentioned. Go ahead, Kadar.
I ain't got shit. So
the over.
I ain't betting on that. Once again, you saw my variance on what it is out. And we're literally going into our prediction saying, we think and hope we're wrong. So
right.
I'm staying away from this one. There might be some player props they weren't available to FanDuel before we recorded, before I could do anything. They had some of the passing stats, but I didn't love them because once again, I just don't know what's going to be. I mean, if there's anything, I think that if you can go with rushing attempts, I might go something like that. If you could do anything as far as some of the small reception standpoint, like Zach Ertz 2 catches, Luke McCaffrey 1 catch, something like that, I might do that. Brian Robinson, a catch or 2 out of the backfield. I'd probably do something like that.
I think a B-Rob catch performance makes a lot of sense with Ekeler out and him probably seeing more carries. The short passing you were talking about, it's a 75% doesn't mean they're baiting us. It's what they're willing to give up. And so it makes sense.
And this feels like a Jayden rushing touchdown day.
It does. I mean, the guy's a dynamic runner, man.
That's the thing, that rushing attack that includes him. And it's just a matter of what's that gonna be. And that's the thing with that whole blitz thing. And I hate to get back into the X's and O's for a sec, but the blitz aspect of is dude, if we see Jayden playing at that level he was before the Cincinnati game, Cincinnati didn't blitz much more different than anybody. But if he's seeing a bunch of blitz pre-snap, thinks that that's what's happening, and does not take the time to go through the progressions and do what he does, it's going to be a big rushing day for Jayden Daniels.
Absolutely could. And with that, let's go over to the comment mailbag. Take it away, Nikki.
What country you from? What ain't no country I ever heard of? They speak English and what? What? English, motherfucker! Do you speak it? What? Say what again? Say what again? I dare you. I double dare you, motherfucker. Say what one more goddamn time.
Sorry, I've been watching. I mean, they have like a video component to the Gibbs Bible.
It's incredible. I love this thing.
Sorry. All right, Nikki.
Comment mailbag time, motherfuckers. District divided, ain't got time for no suckers. Spread the word, get in line. OGs and new G's, it's your time. And spread the gospel, cause this shit is divine. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Nikki, as always, for that. Greatly appreciate it. And I got to get my hands on the Gibbs Bible. This thing's incredible. We begin with Be Well 4467. Shout out. Love the new intro. Shout out, Kate, out one more time for that. And Earl Bruce also loves the new intro. In reply to Be Well, says, hey, it's awesome.
And we got a new intro with a new verse, right? So yeah,
yes, we do.
Yeah.
Yes. Shout out Big Papa Grizzly. Everyone just found out that Jayden is Irish. His last name is actually O'Roy. Offensive Rookie of the Year, OROY. Over there, 3 thumbs up. People really enjoyed that one. I did too. Shout out Big Papa Grizzly for that.
That bet.
Hey, it's looking good. It's looking good for you,
I'm gonna have some Christmas money. Or no, post-Christmas money.
We go to Earl Bruce. Best game for Jayden so far. Oh, yeah. I am psyched. 2 separate comments over there. Earl Bruce is feeling it right now, which is incredible. We got Vindo. The Slim Reaper has arrived. Finally. You can't make this stuff up. Not bad for a college offense, huh? Now, you know what's interesting? Because when I first heard Cam Taylor-Britt say that, I took no offense to it.
It wasn't offensive.
At all. I think people took it out because when I was hearing him speak, I was like, yeah, he's right. That's what we do. Like, that is literally what we do. I almost, to a degree, kind of felt bad for him because like everyone was just like killing him. And he even so respectfully at the end was like, and I'm, I did not mean for that in a malicious manner. Like, it just got taken that way, but I will still eat my words. I actually came away respecting the guy a hell of a lot because I was like, that to me wasn't even on you, Cam. Like, I think it just got taken that way.
100%. And like every once in a while, you hear some of the athletes will be like, "Yo, you took me out of context." And sometimes this is one of those cases, absolutely, that they're right. They did not contextualize what it is he was saying. If you're being honest about it, a lot of the teams in the NFL run college style offenses.
And like, Michael Irvin even said it perfectly. He's like, "The fuck you want them to do?" Like, it's Jayden Daniels' 3rd game. Like, you want him to just run a pro style offense? Of course, you do the college style stuff and then open it up as he gets more comfortable. And I was like, yeah, that makes total sense. So honestly, Cam Taylor-Britt, you're good with District Divided. Like, we didn't take any offense to what you said. That was
and plus
fine.
You gave him so many yards to Terry. It's all good.
Yeah, that was also very helpful. Appreciate that. We love Cam Taylor-Britt on this one. And one more with Vindo. Shout out. One thing people missed from last year's college season is that LSU's defense statistically was one of the worst in program and SEC history. He's kind of in the same boat, just at the professional level, unfortunately. K-Dot, your reaction to that?
Yeah, things are playing out. That's why I keep bringing up that story when they were 5-0 and Jayden was doing it one way. And then you could see it majority of his senior year is that, as you pointed out, as a lot of people pointed out, that he got better. Like he wasn't just taking off for the sake of taking off. Like he got better and played within the style of the offense, and then they kind of blossomed completely. I would say that the offensive talent that he had at LSU,
yes,
is compared to the defensive talent, a little different. But as far as him needing to make up for bad defense, I think we all knew the secondary was going to be a problem. I don't think any of us thought the defensive line was going to be a problem that it is right now. But It's good to see that Jayden is, once again, we're only 3 games in, but getting there.
Absolutely getting there. And also shout out to LSU boys, because Malik Neighbors is already a problem. Brian Thomas, whenever Trev's thrown it to him, Trevor Lawrence, has been good. Like, they have all been very, very good so far.
And I still don't think they've unlocked Neighbors. Because
I
remember,
agree.
my Neighbors comparison was Reek.
Did you see that catch against Cleveland for his second touchdown where he high points it, spins, right? Because that's where his momentum's taking him, and still gets the toe down. I was like, oh my God.
Neighbors, yeah. Like, fuck him because he's a giant.
Right. But man, although at the time of recording, go beat fucking Dallas. That'd be great. That'd be awesome.
I'm not even watching the game tonight.
I know.
I'm going to the movies.
Enjoy. We go over to Clarence Thomas. The 10 men was a reference to the Bengals defense on that touchdown play.
It wasn't.
Also incorrect. It was 11 on 11. I ended up checking after I saw this. I was like, oh, is that true? Because that would also take some of it off. I was like, no, it was just 11 on 11. So
I can be brutally honest. Before we recorded, I did count and saw 11. And I was like, it's not as good as the story. So we're just going to roll with this.
No, I ended up seeing it because, well, I rewatched the game, obviously. And then when Aikman said, there's 10 men, I paused. And I was like, really? That's amazing.
You count the offense and you count the defense. You're like, oh, there's 11 guys.
But listen, people are going to forget that there were 11. They may never know. So at least the legend of Jayden, the legend of that play,
I like it,
is incredible. We got to go to Coach because this first one's a Coach. Love it. This is ridiculous. Okay. The thing that has been concerned, that has me concerned as an Eagles fan, is that I gave Jayden Daniels a B for the game. Okay. Including his early throws, and he's only getting better. Okay. So the sentiment is positive, but we'll get to that in a moment. Fans have been riding Jayden Daniels D for months now, and this was the first cowgirl-worthy game. That was funny. It might have been a college offense for the first couple of weeks. This shit was an NFL offense. Congrats. And so I appreciate the sentiment overall. Coach, third NFL game on the road Monday night. Has anyone ever gotten an A? Get out your reaction.
Yeah, I remember a Philly B is an A+ anywhere else.
That's true. Okay, Philly B. You're right.
It's a Philly B.
But I just remember reading that, like, a B.
After they won a Super Bowl, they still didn't get A's. Okay. So just
Nick
like
Foles, B.
Jason Kelce might be at an A- right now just in aura because he ain't playing and can't be blamed. But I'm sure if I listen to Philadelphia Sports Radio, they're also blaming him for retiring and leaving them in this situation.
No, that's true. That's true. Coach Lombard also said that I was including Jayden's 12 carries in my projection, maybe perhaps the grade as well. So yeah, because Jayden did have some carries in that game. And then for comparison's sake, Jalen Carter wrecks games. This is now back to Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne. I can't remember the last time Payne or Allen wrecked a game. Truth be told, it's been a while, right? I mean, like I'm trying to think. And last year, it's tough, right? Because wrecking a game also involves an offense that can do something too to help the defense out. And last year, both were quite bad. So even if Jonathan Allen or Deron Payne had a nice game, we were dropping Howell back 60 times. We were telegraphing runs like K-Dot was saying all season. So can it constitute as wrecking a game, but we couldn't even do anything offensively? I don't know. Go ahead, K-Dot.
I think Jalen Carter's on his way to being a game wrecker. I wouldn't classify him as that yet. Especially, I don't think defensive tackle, there have been too many absolute game wreckers that have even.
No, Aaron Donald just like set the bar so high for everybody else.
Like Aaron Donald, you could go back. Yeah. Chris Jones is damn close, if not there. But you go back, like Haloti Nada had a small moment. You maybe have Warren Sapp had his moments as far as getting like double-digit sacks from defensive tackle position.
Correct.
Like, there were some dudes that could absolutely do that, right? It's harder to do it from the defensive tackle position.
Dexter Lawrence is legit, as we know.
Dexter Lawrence is probably the closest to being that guy. And yet it doesn't.
Quinn Williams.
But the thing is, like, you can't even see it because of the way that the other defensive deficiencies have been in New York. So it doesn't really matter. So it's like, look, I'm not going to get into the semantics on it. The only thing that I would say is that, like, I know how much Deron Payne and Jonathan Allen get paid in comparison to everybody else in the league. I know what they get paid as a combo compared to everybody else in the league. The production's not where it needs to be.
And it's fair for fans to expect that production when you look at the contracts.
I'm just hoping that, like, they clearly have had talent. It's just a matter of, like,
I still love them.
Are they going to
like? I want it to work. I
but
wanted
we're gonna start having the conversation on here. Is like who coming up before these trade deadline.
That's what I was going to say. The trade deadline does matter to us. I know we're 2-1, and I know it's exciting, and I know the national media is like, can they win the NFC? Like, yeah, it's an exciting conversation, but there's a long way to go here, and who knows what Adam Peters wants to do.
And week 1 gave me confidence that they can.
Mm-hmm. Well said. We go over to DJ Turner. Shout out DJ Turner. Crazy game. First game in the modern era with no punts or turnovers.
Yeah.
How does this Daniels start compare to RG3's start? Not trying to be a downer, I swear. So, for me, well, first off, RG3's start was pretty electric, of course. He ended up winning NFC Offensive Player of the Week. And shout out Jayden, NFC Offensive Player of the Week and Rookie of the Week. RG3 won NFC Offensive Player of the Week his very first start on the road against New Orleans. So, like, in that respect, wow. I mean, that first game with RG3 was legitimately unbelievable. We were like, holy shit, this is crazy. I would say the start itself, different levels of electricity, but quite comparable. The thing with Jayden is his attitude, demeanor, and the way that he seems to process information is so different from RG3. RG3 was also in the Shanahan offense where you hear the conversation with Brock Purdy. They don't ask him to do too much. This guy's going to be wide open. Just please throw it to him. I mean, that's what RG3 was going through, is that little zone, and then he just dumped it to Garcon over the middle because the linebackers would commit. That was the play that happened over and over and over and over again. And it ended up being awesome. And Alfred Morris was awesome. This does feel different, though, with new ownership, new coaches, etc. Go ahead, kiddo.
Ding, 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 ding. If I'm looking at just what I saw on the field, RG3's first 3 starts probably had me more like giddy, but he didn't have anything like what Jayden just had in this last Monday night game. I just put that a cut above anything else I've seen from anybody. I mean, I put that in like Jayden's performance. I could rarely even look at guys that have been in the league for 5 or 10 years and say how many guys had games like that, period.
Yeah.
Right. But the biggest thing above all things is that even with all we saw with Robert Griffin III, still in the back of my mind was they did draft Kirk Cousins for a reason, and Dan Snyder's still in the front office. There's some bullshit afoot. Yeah. I don't feel that now. They have, and I haven't been able to say this in a few weeks. They did everything I wanted them to do, except draft JJ McCarthy. That was wrong.
On that note, Brendan Nichols, shout out, right?
Oh, motherfucker.
Hey, K-Dot. Does JJ McCarthy still interview well? Should he still be the pick? Is the question from Brent. Go ahead.
No, he shouldn't be the pick. Like the game that Jayden Daniels just put out just now makes me think, regardless of what I think about Caleb Williams, regardless of what I think about JJ McCarthy, regardless of what I think about any of those guys, pre them being in the league, Drake May, all of them, is the right choice. Period. And if you're the Chicago Bears and you can do it all over again, you do that too. The only caveat I have with any of this is Jayden's finally at a particular point where I'm seeing that maybe, just maybe, the talent can outmaneuver bullshit around him, potentially. Caleb hasn't gotten there that yet. Drake May, he's going to get his opportunities.
He will.
And JJ's hurt, so we don't know.
Right.
But I will tell you, I think that any of those other guys here in this particular situation are doing more than they're doing with their respective teams.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would also say, and I was giving you shit for JJ during the draft process because I was like, please, no, dude. Like, you can't possibly think that. I will say this. Minnesota, Kevin O'Connell, hold him in high regard. He could end up being spectacular. Right? He could. We talk about situation mattering, and this is what we said at the very beginning of the show as well. But JJ's in an amazing spot. I know he's hurt, but man, he could be special there. He could. It's for DJ as well because he's a Vikings guy.
Because Brendan Nichols is a douchebag dickhead. But here's a text I sent him about Sam Darnold. Because there was a question that got posed on the Bill Simmons' podcast about whether or not you take Sam Darnold with Kevin O'Connell or Anthony Richardson by himself right now today, if you were like building a team.
Donald with O'Connell.
That's my opinion. And
Yeah.
trust me, Richardson is the most athletic, raw talent. I've never seen him before, ever.
Right.
But the thing with KLC that people are forgetting, and this is why I keep talking about situations. Dude came into the league with Todd Bowles as his head coach and a forgettable OC. Then he went to Adam Gase. Then he went to Matt Rule. And now he had 1 year with Kyle Shanahan, and now he's with KOC, and we're seeing this. The place you go and the situation around you matters so much. I ask anybody. I love Jayden. If Dan Snyder was still leading this thing with Jayden Daniels as your quarterback, how unsecure would you feel about this shit?
Truth be told, K-Dot, I'm not even sure I'd want Jayden if Snyder were still owner.
Wouldn't have been Adam Peterson made the pick?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, God, who do we even take? We probably trade the farm. You know what happens? That's exactly what happens. We trade the farm. We move up. We get Caleb. Caleb sucks here. And Jayden's doing everything in Chicago. And they got another haul. That's exactly what happens.
Yep. So you have to take that into consideration, man.
God bless Josh Harris. We go over to Rahil Muhammad. Shout out. Rahil Muhammad. K-Dot. Proud of you, bro. Great show, my guy. Get out your reaction.
Thanks. Do I know this guy?
I was going to ask you that.
I appreciate it.
He's proud of you.
But not proud of you. I don't get it.
No, it's literally, it's there. That's all it says.
I didn't pay for that.
Well, we go to my generic name-o, also known as former co-host of the show, Matthew Regan. Shout out.
Fuck this dickhead, I gotta say.
Crazy that just 12 months ago, the Commanders were getting blown out at home by the Bears in prime time. And K-Dot was dodging the pod and the people. Just imagine what this offense would look like with Gardner Minshew.
He's a fucking asshole. All right, let me put it. Who was your top QB pick on the free agency list going into the season?
Tyrod Taylor off of free agency. But for full context for everybody, we did an episode where we said our top 3 QBs, draft or free agency, and K-Dot's number 1 quarterback was Gardner Minshew, which is where that's coming from, to which I was quite shocked. It's one of Matt Regan's favorite moments from this pod in its entirety.
Yeah,
but that's what happened.
Fuck him. I still stick with that.
Oh, please. Oh, please. You still stick with it?
Yeah.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Why? Why can't I?
As the number 1 quarterback. Okay. The whole point of the question, K-Dot, was how do you want to proceed into the future? Because that suggests Gardner is the most important quarterback to get. And then you ended up explaining it, just to be clear.
I thought I explained it. We still were going to draft a quarterback. But
right, we're still going to draft one, but it also represented an indifference in the quarterback that we drafted.
Oh. Yeah, so that's the thing. Is like
that's the thing.
So it's less about the Gardner piece and more about the other part. And so, like, I'd say Nichols' comment is better than Regan's comment. So you fail again, you Detroiter. Fucking just shit comes out of Michigan. Look, I stand firm that if they're looking into this, all right, I'll pose this question to you. Me and you were both on the same page as far as not wanting Jayden to start.
Yes, we were.
Do you still think that was the right choice?
Do I still think it was the right choice? Well, right now,
I get it, right? But like,
right now,
we're
glad
just
like,
all right, you're developing like a motherfucker, like, just
right,
go ahead
exactly,
with it, right?
Exactly.
But let's say Mariota wasn't hurt.
Yeah.
Would you still like? And there was no way for us to know that this was going to be the case, right?
I would have wanted him to sit.
I want a veteran. I want him.
Yeah, I would have wanted him to sit.
That's where I'm at. It's like, because I even look at that. Like, if Jayden sat, because this is what I look at. Yeah. I think he's just getting better. So if Jayden sat and just learned for the season, does that mean next year he's throwing for 6 touchdowns again? like what's the floor for that?
It seems like, well, but here's the thing. It always became a non-starter the moment the beat reporters got to watch these guys throw.
Anything.
And they were like, oh my God, there's no conversation. It's over. Like all of them. And when John Kime's getting excited, the most medium, like you talk about just being medium, and he's like, dude, guy's pretty good. Like that was like, okay, it's a wrap. He's starting day 1. That was the comment mailbag. This was District Divided, DC Sports Podcast, more specifically a Washington Commanders podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening to today's episode of the program where we previewed the game against the Arizona Cardinals. Again, that kickoff 4:05 p.m. Eastern. And hopefully it's another Shades Monday. That'll be awesome. I'm Amit. That is K-Dot. Thanks for listening. If you like it, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, comment as you always do, and K-Dot.
Don't let Coach Gibbs come after you with great vengeance and furious anger. So share this shit.
Share this shit. We greatly appreciate you guys as always. Thank you so much. And after the pod, we can do a quick one. Begins right now.
Ooh, I had to think on my feet just now. I didn't know if we were doing it or not, so I had to get things situated.
No, I mean, whenever we can. Like, this new recording time is fabulous. Like, it works very, very well. Allows us to get some time.
My movie's not until 10 p.m. So
Perfect. Got a bit of time here. But it's also, we're already a $1:25 in, so we'll keep it short. You wanted to talk about the Panthers for a moment.
Okay. Do you remember? Because I've been catching shit. I don't understand.
For the Panthers?
Saying that fucking prick Brandon Nichols, right?
Okay.
Do you not remember me saying that when Andy Dalton started, it would immediately get better?
Yeah, I remember that.
That's it. That's all. I don't understand. So, like, everybody wants to dunk on me about the Bryce Young thing, and I stand firm with this. What they built in Carolina is better for almost any other quarterback that's not named Bryce Young.
Have you seen their offensive line ranking? I've been preaching that the first 2 weeks. I'm like, look, I don't know what the hell's going on with Bryce. By the way, I think I do know what's going on with Bryce. And then Dalton comes in, same clean pocket. Deontay has a career day. Adam Thielen has the nice catch in the end zone. And all of a sudden starts looking nice. And so that was a relief because there was a moment where I was like, these fuckers may go winless. Like if they just play Bryce the whole time because of these all-22 breakdowns. Or anyway,
I still think they suck. But
I think they'll be fine. I think they suck. But look, it is what it is. The Saints ain't fucking going to be worse than them at this point. And I'm still division's up there, which is all we've ever wanted. Your side piece team, my side piece team. Who knows?
If Carolina could go on a run and do what it is they need to do, I'd love to be able to cash in that bet. I ain't denying that. No, I love that shit. I'm just saying that what they built in Carolina, Bryce Young should have never started in the first place. Bryce Young should have just been coming to getting the start at this particular point in time if they ran their program correctly.
Oh, sure.
So, like, to me, it's like the system in which they built last year and this year works so much better for an Andy Dalton than it would as far as a Bryce Young. As far as what you're looking at, even with the offensive line, and I keep going back to it.
Because you're talking about the rollouts, of the shorter quarterbacks and stuff.
You got to do it. It's the Drew Brees. It's Kyler Murray. It's like what you see as far as these dudes. You got to be able to do that.
The man played at Alabama, K-Dot. Like, those guys weren't short. Those guys are all going pro. Like, he was able to do it.
Come on. You talk about it's Alabama. Best. But
I'm just talking about the line of vision.
No. I'm also saying that Alabama. The gaps in the offensive line in order to be able to see Alabama is insane. It's not insane.
But here's what I actually think happened, K-Dot, because to me it's much more mental than anything else. I don't think it has anything to do with him seeing, like, literally. I think he could see it because there were games last season where he played well, like the Green Bay game, for example. That wasn't a good matchup for him. They put up 30 points and he was hard to stop for them. Like, he's got it in him. I think his personal life bled into the start of this season. That is sincerely what I believe. I don't know if you followed that.
No, I'm not.
So I had a girlfriend. I forgot her name. I think Myra Gordon or something like that.
Yeah, I did see that.
You instantly see she's now with Tyrese Maxey. She'd been with Shador and Jalen Green, I think. And I think Bryce took it to heart. I mean, like, I think that was a very big change for him. I sincerely think this, by the way. You can clown me for it later if you'd like to. But I think his head's messed up. I sincerely think his head's messed up from that, because up until that point, everything was like, hey, he's doing great. He's doing great. And it didn't seem like it was just random talk. The Jets guys were also saying in that joint practice, hey, Bryce looks pretty damn good. Like, so I think it happened pretty recently. And I think he was really messed up from that. That is honestly my take.
I'm one to truly believe in, like, the psychology of the game, and if you have a lot of shit happening outside the game, it's extremely hard to go in. It's what I've said about Baker Mayfield and the story that even they told on the broadcast about Baker when he was in Cleveland, the shit that was happening outside in his personal life that was affecting everything. No doubt. I will tell you, I heard a story on the Raw Room
Okay.
that slightly changed my opinion on Bryce Young.
Okay.
And look, I root for my short kings, man. As a dude who's saying 5'7", I rock with my short guys. Okay. Darren Bates, I think it was one of the assistant coaches for the Carolina Panthers, was on the Raw Room, and I don't understand how any coach was allowed to say the shit that he said on the.
I was going to say he's a coach for the Panthers. One thing if he was a Bama coach.
Nah, he out there just letting it fly. So he said it. He was playing Kevin Gates in practice.
Okay,
and so the coach was playing Kevin Gates in practice, and Bryce Young came up to him and said, "Playing Kevin Gates, that's an irresponsible thing to do." And I think when I heard that, I was like, "Oh, what?" And then apparently later on, he was playing Young Jeezy, and Bryce came
Don't
like,
tell me
that's not it. That's
no.
Not I was like, when I heard those two things,
this is the shit that doesn't make a spreadsheet. This is why analytics isn't everything. Are you kidding me? That's real.
It's like once again,
Kevin Gates and Young Jeezy, it was like, no, this isn't it.
This isn't it. I'm like, so it's like even
Andy Dalton starting the rest of the season.
Bro,
I don't care. I'm out. I'm out.
not the biggest Kevin Gates fan. I'll admit, I'm not the biggest Kevin Gates
fan.
Care.
You don't.
It's like two phones. Two phones.
Music. Go ahead.
But if somebody played Kevin Gates, if I heard somebody walk up to another person and say that's an irresponsible thing to do, I might have lost all respect.
I refuse to believe that's real.
Like to me, it's like if that's my quarterback, that's my quarterback.
Why would Darren even say that? Now I'm mad at Darren. Like, why would you even go on a podcast?
I'm telling you right now, the Raw Room is going to be the biggest. The Raw Room is going to be the biggest goddamn.
You got to send me the clip. That is nuts.
The only thing that's going to change is the fact that All Them Young is black and they ain't Kelsey. So like that might be an issue, but just as far as what the national media and they like the stories that come out, the CP stuff alone.
Oh, I mean that was hilarious.
Doug, I learned so much.
I mean, dude, the strip club in Miami was so funny.
Fort
you knew immediately too. You knew immediately when he was like,
the comment.
You coming?
They just didn't catch it.
Yeah.
But no, his bye week story about how in Ashburn and they know it's the bye week. It's like a Tuesday, and Walgreens just start selling booze up here. So he's like, they went to Walgreens and bought a bunch of fucking liquor. And Sean looks at him and is like, we should go to Fort Lauderdale. We're like, what? Okay, we should go to Fort Lauderdale. Let's go home. Let's go to Fort Lauderdale. So so Sean pulls up JetBlue and just start buying tickets. So they're drunk as shit on the plane. Just drinking fucking Hennessy and shit on the plane. Buying a bunch of airplane bottles on the plane, like passing out to everybody in the section, just getting fucking lit. They arrive in Fort Lauderdale at like 4:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Get into a car, go directly to a strip club. They get to the strip club. The owner comes out. It's a Tuesday at like 5 p.m. So like they're too early for the strip club. The owner says, do you want me to shut this down for just you guys? They're like, yeah, fuck yeah. They leave the strip club at 3 a.m. Leave, get into their cars, which I did not want to hear. They get in their car, go. Clinton says he's outside of his house. He can't get the key in the door. He's outside for like an hour trying to get the key in the door. And then his girl talks to Jackie, Sean's girl.
Yeah.
And Jackie's like, Sean surprised me. He came home last night, but he could not get in the house. He could not make that key work. And Clinton's like, Clinton did the same thing. Like, yo, I'm telling you, man, Raw Room's the shit.
I gotta check out Raw Room. It sounds like it almost sounds like the Jeff Teague sort of. It's like the equivalent, but on the NFL side of things.
Yep. You get dudes that haven't made it to a level at which they're like known across all platforms. So like you can't, like if you're Tom Brady, you can't just let it fly. You got a brand, you got this, that, and the other, right? But when you reach a certain level where like enough of you people that know the sport know who you are, you got a bunch of friends in the sport, and then you can just let shit fly because you ain't got to worry about anything. This is now your new business. I love that shit.
I'm still pissed off at Darren Bates. Don't be saying that shit. You're on staff. Or is he still on staff?
I think so. But the way they made it, it was very joking. But I came out of it like, I don't know.
Yeah, for data analysts out there, this is the difference between structured data, which is numbers, and unstructured, which is video. If I had gotten that, nothing's brewing. I would have been out. I would have been out too. You don't.
I need to know. I need to know in the combine, I need to know. Unlike Jerry Jones, who wants to know your dick size, I want to know what your pre-game playlist sounds like.
I think it's a great question.
What do you listen to for your pregame?
I think it's a good question.
Yeah. I'd make a damn good GM.
Not going to disagree right now. Well, I mean, you would have taken JJ, but other than that, like, yeah, I think it'd be awesome.
Look, man, I got to eat that. I understand. I still don't think I'm wrong.
Well, that's the thing.
I'm wrong. I'm wrong. But it doesn't mean that I have any lack of faith in JJ or Caleb or Drake.
What I was going to say. Like that JJ, again, and this is more watching Sam in Minnesota than anything. Like, I think he'll end up being just fine.
It'll be all right.
Yeah, I think it'll be just fine. All right. Well, you got a movie to watch. I'm going to have to write up this description and shit. That Bryce Young thing pisses me off. I'm still thinking about it. That is insane. I guess I'll check out Raw Room because, like,
please do. Tell everybody they need to.
All right, man. Well, anyway, thank you guys for listening. We will see you, Monday morning with the recap. So until then, take it easy.
Bye, everybody.
Does he look like a bitch? What? Does he look like a bitch?
In DC, we're just hoping that you listen.